All right. Good evening. Good evening. It's Saturday night. Saturday night is all right for fighting. Yeah, used to be. Anyway, got a message through Facebook from a brother. From a brother that works out, lifts, got some muscle going, older guy. He's asking me about if I know anything about this ailment that's plaguing him. He has a disc in his spine, upper part of his spine, and around his bottom of his neck or near his neck, somewhere up there, that has slipped forward. So this disc has slipped forward. Now the name of this condition, I had to Google and find out what the actual name was, is beyond my ability to pronounce. I can merely speculate at how you should pronounce this thing. And of course I could have looked it up further, I could have dug it up and found, doesn't make any difference. Arose by any other name, right? Still the same shit. So he's got a disc slip forward, and what that does in some cases, to one degree or another, it causes nerve impingement, all kind of various pain and stiffness, and infringes on your functionality. There are different categories how to categorize this thing, class 1 and 2 and 3 and so forth and so on. There are different reasons you can get it. That can happen to you. It can be old age, it can be genetics, it can be all kind of stuff. Primarily what I see listed is they're trying to explain that there's a degenerative effect that probably has everything to do with genetics and old age, or one or the other, combination of two, whatever you may be. Whatever reason. If you got it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't got it, if you do got it, I'm sure you know more than I do about it. But here's the whole point to it. He says his complaint is that his doctors just don't seem to give a shit. They just don't seem to give a shit. And, I've spoken of this before. I'm going to touch on it again here because it bears repeating. An old man, basically, you got nothing coming. You got nothing coming anymore. You ain't got nothing coming, man. No mercy on an old man in his life. So, in the words of Clint Eastwood, don't let the old man in. Don't let the old man in. Somebody asked Clint Eastwood how he's still able to function the way that he is and get done as much as he does, and basically work circles around younger guys at 3 times their age. And he sat down and actually said, the truth is, I don't let the old man in. That's what he said. He said that he woke up one day and the old man was already moved in, and the old man was comfortable in his easy chair and drinking his whiskey and every other thing. Once he realized that, became more aware of that, he had to boot him out of there, give him the boot. Keep the old man out. Don't let the old man in. That's how you do it. So, we got nothing coming. Old guys, we don't have jack shit coming. We have nothing coming. In most cases, not in all cases, but in most cases, we have more life experience for sure. Most cases, we have more wisdom. We know better than we knew when we were younger, right? What old motherfucker doesn't know better now than he knew when he was younger? What old dude do you know that is not in better control of himself and knows himself better and is better at managing himself and conducting himself in a favorable state to a much more greater degree than that which he could do or did exercise as a younger man? So there's a lot of pros to being older. There's a lot of cons. But you got to look on the glass is half full side, at least that's what I believe, because you're not going to do anything about being old as far as stopping the clock. You're not going to stop that chronological clock. You're not going to turn the chronological age, whatever it may be, your age is, you're not going to be able to, you can't turn it backwards, you can't go back there. So you better just get comfortable and make the best of what you can today. Now you can rail. It's like the poem says, rail against the dying of the light. You can rail, right? Do not go softly. Don't go softly, man. Don't go softly. You got to go hard, you go fucking hard. You go hard. You know how to go hard, right? I know how to go hard. That ain't never been my problem, that lack of knowing how to go hard. Well, even in this society, even in this world today, you know, where you can't just smack the shit out of somebody because they'll never take it for that they deserve that, and maybe that's going to straighten them up a bit, and maybe they're going to fucking learn something from that. And maybe you deserved every bit of that. Nobody accepts that anymore. What you're going to find is John Law knocking on your door, because it doesn't matter who it is. It can be the biggest asshole out there, and he can be the biggest bully out there, and he could have stomped the shit out of 15 people that, of course, he selected to do that to. You know, and if you put him in his place, if he comes across the wrong guy and you're that wrong guy, you know, it's like Clint said in that movie, Gran Torino. You ever run across somebody that you probably shouldn't have fucked with? You know, you run across a guy like that, you don't need to be that guy. Let somebody else be that guy, man. Because if you're that guy today, you're going to pay for that, man. I don't care. I've seen it too many fucking times. I have physically, really, no bullshit, seen it. And experienced it. I only had experience it a couple of times. And I learned my lesson that, oh, wait a minute, these ain't the same times I'm living in now. You know, I figured that shit out a couple decades ago. And then seeing what's happened to a whole lot of my friends. You know, because like hangs with like. Yeah, these phony ass YouTubers, clown tubers, they talk about real recognizing real. These motherfuckers ain't real. And half the motherfuckers that are saying that, yeah, I got no conversation for them, let alone hang out with them. I don't recognize anything. I don't recognize nothing kindred in them or familiar to me. Or with me. But now I'm getting off topic like I'm wont to do. The whole point to it is, some things you still got to fight for. And anything that you want, health-wise, as far as physicality goes, as far as functionality goes, your quality of life, as it relates to any of that, your physical condition, your ability to just fucking do things, all that shit that used to be free, used to be a freebie. Vibrance and youth and health, you know, vitality, all those things you just used to get for free. Life just handing you shit. Me too. It did. No matter how bad it was, right? You were built a lot better for it as a young guy with nowhere near the effort on your behalf as it is today, as it takes today. Today, you got to put that effort in. You got to put work in. You got to put that work in, man. You know, today, nothing's free anymore. All those things we didn't know were free. They were free, man. They were free, you know. Yep. But today, nothing's free to an old man. Old man don't get no handouts. It was nice while it lasted, but now you got to work for every fucking inch. You got to work for every inch. And if you don't have that, if you don't think that's worth working for, if you don't have your health, if you don't still have the ability to conduct yourself physically as a man out there in the world amongst other men, if need be, man, you can't put a price on that, man, that loss. And the only way you're going to have that, maintain that, hold that standing, is with work. Constant, continuous work. So there's never a break. You can never just lay back and stop and chill out and grow old gracefully. Not in these times. Not in these times. All the crime and violence out there, man. Dissension. All these fucking knuckleheads and assholes that don't even know that they're looking for something they don't want to find. You don't want to be caught up in none of that, but what if you are? What if your family is? What if a loved one is? You got to take care of yourself. And same thing's true with the medical community, man. They don't put the same value on your quality of life as an old guy as they would a younger man. They absolutely don't. They will give you all that horse shit, all that bullshit about, well, they'll start in with that. They'll slide that in there with you. Well, I mean, you are, insert your age here, whatever it might be, in my case, 61. Well, you know, James Tiny Vest, you are 61 years old. Like, okay, well, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? All right? So what does that mean? How am I supposed to assimilate that into my life? They just accept That I'm just supposed to break down and fail to function? No. That I have to accept that? No. They may, all these other motherfuckers out there. There's enough of them out there that'll accept it. They don't need me. I'm not on that team. I'm on my own team. I'm on a different team. And ain't nobody can do it for you. So, you know. And in this gentleman's case, this brother's case, doctors ain't doing shit for him, and he's kind of dejected about it. He's fed up about it, but you know what? Squeaky wheel gets the grease. You got to speak up for yourself. Anytime I have an injury that requires medical intervention, I will go get an opinion. And they can tell me, oh, you need surgery. That's really fucked up. We got to fix it, like the shoulder right now. We're going to have to fix that little by little, inch by inch. I'm strengthening it up because I'm developing, redeveloping, and strengthening all that muscular all that musculature outside that shoulder. And I know, there's a fraudulent belief out there that, oh, that muscle doesn't hold your shoulder together. Only there's little rotator cuff muscles, and the muscles you can't see, that's what's holding your shoulder. And nah, not with this extreme development. This kind of development, it literally, absolutely will hold that motherfucker in. It's just, can you get there from here? That's what's hard part. All right, if your back's fucked up, your back is so encapsulated in muscle that if you strengthen that fucking muscle up, you can make up for a whole lot of defects in that fucking back, because that muscle will hold you up. I know for a fact it will. Blow my back out twice. Have zero repercussions from it today. That was years ago. Always trained back hard. I've always trained back thoroughly for that reason. Problem is, can you get there from here, right? So if you get caught slipping, you get called out, something bad happens to your back. Something bad happens to a shoulder. Something bad happens to a knee. Knee's surrounded by enough muscle too. Yeah. I tore an MCL and never had it surgically repaired. And that was back in, late 80s. Late 80s, I believe. Never had it repaired, and went on to squat over 600 pounds, ass to fucking heels. Deadlift, I don't even remember anymore. Fuck ton of weight. And fight. Torque on that knee, twist on that knee, boom, all kinds of shit. Never a problem again. The knee I had surgery on was the other knee. That was just to clean up some torn up meniscus and cartilage. That's all, a couple years ago. But I took what the doctor said. I took what the surgeon said. I always got to speak to the fucking surgeon, right? Which is not a big deal. You're going to speak to the surgeon. Take what they say into consideration, and they say, well, let me try my hand. I can't make it worse, right? You got to go in there anyway. Maybe you just have to do a little more work if I fuck it up more. But I got nothing to lose where I'm sitting, so I'll rehab it and build it up on myself. That's how I started lifting weights. That's how I started lifting weights. Years and years and years back. That's how I really started getting serious about it, was that fucking knee needed rehab. And I didn't want the surgery. So that's the big problem. Can you get there from here? It's very, very hard when you're injured to train and develop the musculature to relieve that injury. If it can't heal, or it's going to heal to whatever extent it's going to heal, you don't want to re-injure it. You have to work around and somehow through, navigate your way to develop all that musculature in spite of whatever this deficit is. That's difficult. It takes a little heart. But it's well worth it at the end. And the other thing is, if you got a doctor like that and doctor's trying to say, well, your age, if they even start in on that bullshit, find another doctor. Fuck that doctor, find another doctor. Or tell them what your expectations are, right? I had this tendon just sewed back together, damaged it. Did it at work? Work accident, I don't even know if you can see it. Let me show it to you. Can you see that fucking tendon? Can you see this big knot moving up and down there? Can you even see that in that light? I don't even know if you can. I don't even know if you can see it. But they repaired it, hooked it back together, and I told him, I don't care what the fuck it looks like aesthetically. It's got to be strong. It's got to be hella strong because I'm going to beat the shit out of it and I'm going to put it through its paces. It needs to hold up. It's got to be strong. It needs to hold up. Can we do that? Made sure I said that a dozen times to him. And he gave me that. This motherfucker's strong as shit. Strong as shit. It's got some problems, issues with this knot right there and all that. It's going to eventually, it's just going to end up being up to me. Do I want to go back in there and let him shave that down, or just want to deal with that and move on? I'll tell you what, if going in there and shaving it down just making it look better and feel a little bit better, you know, because something presses on this right now, it hurts. But you know what? Well, maybe I can live with that. If it's going to be super strong and it ain't going to fucking re-injure. That's what I would tell him. Yeah, and I've had him pull that shit on me. I've had him say shit to me like, I had a surgeon, and I always try to get sports surgeons, always try to get guys, you know, I don't know what kind of insurance you got, but you want to get guys that are known. You don't want to get Joe Blow from wherever the fuck correspondence school, some shit, whatever, right? I'm exaggerating, of course, but you want to get a guy. You want to get a guy, the guy that did my knee and the guy that will do the shoulder if I end up having to get it done, which right now it's looking good, but if I have to get it done, guy that did that knee and the guy just going to do the shoulder if I have to get it done, that guy does professional athletes. He's done some of the Ravens football players. He's done soccer team guys, you know, and of course he's done all other kind of athletes at other levels. But that guy has seen and done it so many times, that's why I need that guy to do it. Yeah, so squeaky wheel gets the grease in this thing. But they try to pull that ageist shit. He did my knee. He was all giddy and shit. I've said this before. In the recovery room, I come to. I'm still kind of out of it, but I come to, and he says, "Man, what an awesome success! I thought I was operating on the knee of a 30-year-old." Now that's what the motherfucker said to me. Then when I had a little bit of irritation with the knee and I went back and talked to him about it, way down the road later, he says, "Well, James, you know, you are an older guy and you do have some arthritis in that knee." And I said, "Whoop, pump the fucking brakes. Pump the brakes. There's no arthritis that's bothered me. They're always telling me, well, you got some arthritis in it. We saw it on the MRI. Like, let me tell you something. If every part of my body that you cocksuckers have told me have arthritis in it, if it actually hurt like it had arthritis in it, I would be fucking all crippled up. I got zero pain from arthritis. I got zero pain from anything except for this injury that I'm trying to heal up. And this shoulder, if I rush things too fast, if I don't take my time and get it to where it needs to be, if I can. So far I'm doing all right. Anyway, that's the whole point. It's ageist, man. It's ageist. And this is not the time in history. This is not the time in your life. Just happens to be you're older. Just happens to be that's how the pieces landed. It's how the cookies crumbled. It's how the dice rolled. You know, it's how they came up. That's what turned up. That's what you got. That's the hands you were dealt. Just happens to be that you're old now in a fucked up time. In a fucked up time, a precarious time. So, don't take no for an answer. Push, squeaky wheel gets the grease. And don't let these motherfuckers tell you who you are. You understand what I'm saying? By now you should know damn well who you are. How you live. What encompasses an acceptable quality of life for you. Don't let these motherfuckers tell you anything like that. Let them advise you. Let them do their little tests and their imaging and explain it to you. But don't let them interject other shit in there. Well, at your age, well, I'm not trying to hear that fucking shit. What do I expect? I expect it to perform at the level an athlete would need it to perform. You see me? You see how I operate right now? You see the condition I'm in? Come on. Come on. I'm not some broken down husk of a man saying that to you. So Other than that, stay on top of it, man. Stay sharp, stay focused. Stay focused, man. If nothing bad ever happens and you're just overly prepared, well, no loss in that, no harm in that. It's just going to make you better fit to run around and play with your grandchildren if you got any. Chop some fucking firewood if you need be. Show the youngins how it's done. But if shit really goes south, ain't nobody got to watch out for me. Unless they're fucking with me. Then they need to really watch out for me. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. I'm going downstairs. Maybe I'm going to do a live thing over on Patreon. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll go down there, drink a little whiskey, light a little incense, crank a little old school rock and roll, turn on some colored lights, and just zone out. And have a Merry Christmas weekend. Peace.